Most people think success will make them happy. Now, Robbie Williams' new movie or biographical movie or whatever you want to call it, called The Better Man, just proves it's a lie. Now, Robbie Williams had it all, the fame, the money, the fans, but behind closed doors, he was miserable. He was drowning. And do you know the scary part? I know what that feels like. Now, my wife and I are both massive Robbie Williams fans, and I don't really remember him in Take That days, but I've been a fan of Robbie Williams for years. So when we sat down to watch the movie last night, I didn't know what to expect. But I tell you one thing, when I watched it, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Because in so many ways, I saw myself in Robbie Williams. The addiction, the self-doubt, the constant feeling of never been enough. I know what that battle is like firsthand. And not just me, my wife even mentioned it to me before I even said anything. She says, he reminds me of you. Because my wife has been through it all with me. You know, we've been together for 15 years, 14, 15 years. She's seen everything firsthand. And I know that it probably never just hit me like a ton of bricks. There's probably so many men or women watching that they can see themselves in it. Because I know for sure there's plenty of people out there struggling who aren't feeling good enough. Now ask yourself, you know, have you ever felt like no matter what it is that you've achieved, it's never good enough? Okay? Have you ever used something like drugs, alcohol, success, a relationship, whatever it may be, food, shopping, just to numb that pain? Okay? What about even wearing a mask just to feel like you can get through the day? If any of that rings a bell to you, then this is the video to watch today. Okay? Because one of the most heartbreaking things about Robbie Williams' story is from the outside, he looked like he had it all, right? The fame, the money, you know, millions of fans. Inside, he was falling apart. He just felt like he didn't fit in. And I get it. I get it to my core. I get it. Because that was me. You know, for most of my life, I made sure my outside looked like I had my shit together. And also, I used to believe that once I had made it, or I had made this, or made the money, or got the house, the car, whatever it was, once I had achieved enough, then I would finally feel good enough. Okay, see, but see, the truth is, success doesn't heal self-doubt. No external validation will ever fill that internal void. Yes, you might get a quick fix, you know, that instant gratification for a very short time, but it will not be long before, you know, the voice starts chattering in your head again. Because in this Better Man movie, Robbie talks about feeling like an imposter, about constantly needing that next high, whether it was fame, drugs, just to escape himself. Okay, and that was, you know, and I hate keep referencing myself, but as I said, I just want to be authentic on this channel, and I lived that, you know, and the chase for me, it was more than just the money or the success or whatever it would be. It was about me trying to outrun the parts of myself, okay, the parts that I didn't want to face. And that might be you. You know, you might be trapped in some type of addiction or self-doubt, and you ask yourself, what am I running from here? Okay, because some people, the addiction is drugs and alcohol, like myself, or painkillers or whatever. Other people is work, relationships, social media, anything to distract you from what's going on in here and here. Now, for me, like substances, drugs, alcohol, it was a way for me to escape who I was. I was never comfortable in my own skin. And this goes back to when I was a child. You know, I always remember feeling like the black sheep, never fitting in. I never felt good enough. And that little voice didn't help me. It was always telling me that I was never good enough. And that's what I saw when I watched A Better Man. You know, Robbie wasn't addicted to drugs. He was addicted to the relief, the escape, okay, of whatever was going on in his mind, the pressure, the self-doubt, the feeling that it was never enough. And it was so sad to watch, because when I didn't expect to see this, I expected to see a totally different thing, but there was no glamorization of anything in the movie. It was just all real life stuff, and hard hitting and painful and sad. Okay, and that's the real reason that people struggle with addiction. And as I've said before, the drug or the alcohol is not the problem. Okay, that's a temporary solution for a deeper problem from what it is you're trying to escape. Okay, and for me, I was always trying to escape myself. I could never be sitting myself. I always had to be doing something. I always had to be distracted in some kind of way. I was always wearing a mask. Okay, and in the movie, there was several powerful moments, right? But you seen Robbie on stage, and he had millions of fans or thousands or whatever, but he felt alone. He still had they depicted it with these because he was obviously a monkey in it, or a chimpanzee or whatever, and there was these ones in the crowd, and they were saying, "You're not good enough. You shouldn't be here." And it was just like the voices in his head, and he just like he was alone. He just felt completely alone, and that's the thing about mental health and the struggles of addiction. You can be surrounded by people, and not just addiction, mental health in general. You can be surrounded by your family, people, but if you're not truly connected with who you are, you will feel isolated. And even though I've been sober for a long time, over the past few years, there's still been periods where I felt alone, I felt lost, I felt lonely, because I was going through something that nobody around me could understand. So I had nobody to speak to about it. And I felt like trapped in my own little world. And it was scary, and it was lonely. And this is when I stopped putting on these masks, and I took myself away from everybody, because I didn't want to be false anymore. I didn't want to have to wear these masks. I didn't want to act like I had all my shit together, smiling, laughing, being the strong one, because inside I didn't feel that way. I was still trying to figure out who I was, and it felt like I was crumbling at times. And I know there's so many people out there who will be feeling the same way. Right? We wear these masks because we're afraid to be seen for who we truly are. And the thing is, you're amazing. You're not broken. None of us are broken. We're all perfect just the way we are. We just haven't found what works for us yet. And this is why I'm doing this channel, because I know that this is working for me now, because I finally let go of, not let go, but the voice is still there and the fears are still there. But what have I got to lose? The pain of staying the same, was outweighing the pain of making the change. Is that the way you see it? But I was so in so much pain because I wasn't chasing what I wanted to do, but yet I was scared to do what I wanted to do. It was a constant battle. And but I knew that I was just done wearing the masks. Okay? And that's what happens. People are scared, and they think if people knew the truth about me, they wouldn't love me. And that's bullshit. Because true connection, true healing, only happens when we actually let go of the masks and we allow ourselves to be who we are. And believe it or not, you are loved. There's so many people love you on this earth. There's so many people who look at you and are amazed of the individual that you are. So there's no need to pretend to be somebody you're not, because the people who matter in your life, they love you for you. They truly love you for who you are. And the more that I go down this journey of being authentically me, the more that I see that this is the truth. Because think about it. If success doesn't fix you, money doesn't fix you, addiction only numbs it, then what's the solution? What is going to help you move beyond the fears and doubts? And as I said yesterday, action erases the doubts. But you have to stop running. Because when I stopped running, that's when I started facing. Okay, I started facing myself in the mirror. I sat with who I am, and I got real and raw about all the great things that I've achieved, all the good that I've done in my life. But I looked at what was driving my self-doubt, my addiction, my fears, and were these valid anymore? They might have been valid at one point in my life, these beliefs, these doubts, these fears, but were they valid now? No. Okay, and it's about stopping to look for that external validation. Nothing outside of you, no success, no person, no achievement will ever, ever, ever be enough if you don't believe you're enough internally. Healing starts with looking inside. When you stop looking for permission to feel worthy, because I promise you, you are worthy. You could not be more worthy. Whether you believe that right now or not, you could not be more worthy. Look at the pain, face it. Because see, when we run from things, we're always going to be running. We have to face the pain instead of trying to numb it. If you're constantly reaching for something to escape, drugs, alcohol, pornography, shopping, food, whatever it is, you need to ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What is it that I'm avoiding? Because true healing isn't about avoiding pain. It's about looking at it and working through it. Because yes, it will be hard to begin with, but I promise you, it will be worth it. Because do you want to spend your life running or spend a short time healing and working through it? Don't get me wrong. Healing's a lifelong journey because things are always going to come up. But when the more you do it, the easier it becomes. When you start to work through things and you figure out how strong and how amazing you are, life becomes more joyful. The people around you experience the benefits, of you becoming your best version. Okay, there's no need for masks anymore. It's time for you to be authentically you. Be real. You don't need to be perfect because you know what? Nobody's perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out because nobody has it all figured out. They might say they have it figured out, or on their highlights of their Instagram reel or their Facebook page, they might look like they have it figured out. But believe you me, everybody out there is struggling with something that you don't know about, and they just put all their highlights out there to make it look like they are all amazing and great. And the reality is, nobody is. Okay, the moment you start being real, raw, honest, and authentic about what it is that you're going through. Because see, when I looked at my struggles, my fears, my doubts, that was the moment when I surrendered and I started to heal. Okay, because you are not alone. You might feel alone. This is why I've started this page, to build a community of people who have been going through struggles in life, who are dealing with shit, who just maybe need to vent, who need a bit of inspiration. This is about coming together. We don't need to be alone anymore. Okay, this is a time for unity when we come together and we support each other, we elevate each other, we come together and heal. Because see, when I'm healing you, I'm healing me. See, when I'm giving love to you, I'm giving love to myself. But it's also the same as if I'm judging you, I'm judging myself. If I'm being horrible to you, I'm being horrible to myself. The more that I go into this journey and open up, you'll see that what I've uncovered on a spiritual level is that we are all connected. Okay, whether you believe that or not, we are all connected. As above, so below. If you look at this universe on a grander scale and if you really sat for half an hour and thought, how does this place work? Our bodies, the trees, the birds, the grass, everything, you will know that there's something bigger at play here, and we are all connected. So you're not alone, and I'm here to support anybody that needs support. Okay, because when I watched that movie last night, and the most heartbreaking thing about this was Robbie Williams struggled in silence. He had all these people around him, but he was struggling in silence. He's probably lucky to be alive, just like I know that I'm lucky to be alive. That's why I know I have a bigger purpose on this earth, because I have been protected in so many ways when there's situations that I should be dead, but I know that I'm here for something greater, and so are you. You wouldn't be actually watching it to this point if you didn't believe it. Okay, and I know out there right now, there's so many others that are doing the same thing, that are suffering in silence. It's time to speak up. There's people out there that want to help you. I want to help you. Okay, and if it is you, if it is, I just want you to know you're not alone. You don't have to wear a mask anymore. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to stay stuck in the monotonous cycle of doom and gloom and feel like you're beating your head off a brick wall and that nobody's listening. Healing is possible. Change is possible. I'm living proof of that. But it all starts with you being honest with yourself and then start to be honest with others. I promise you this right now. This journey can be difficult at times, but on my worst day right now on this journey is better than my best day when I was stuck in addiction or battling the demons in my head. I promise you that. So if that is you, drop a comment. If you resonate with this, let me know your story. Let me know your thoughts, your struggles. What is going on? Let's have a real conversation about mental health. Let's have a real conversation about addiction. Let's have a real conversation about spirituality, depression, anxiety. Because the more we talk about it, the less power it has over us. I promise you that. So if this video brought you any value, and if you're on your own journey of self-mastery, healing, or just trying to figure out how to deal with this thing called life, then subscribe to the channel, because I'm looking to build a community of people where we can build each other up. People who are done pretending and ready to live a truly authentic, amazing life. Let's heal together. Let's grow together. Let's be real together. We only have this one life in this body. We might have other lives in other bodies, but right now, so it's time to live it to the maximum for yourself, for the people that you love, for humanity. Okay, so that's me for today. It's an emotional one. I really did get emotional watching that last night, and I felt, I felt not sorry. I did feel sorry for him, because right now I know Robbie Williams has been sober for over 20 years now and he's living a wonderful life. But how difficult would that have been? And he said a line in the movie. He said, I was always destined to be an alcoholic or an addict. But what was it? Money, or I had the resources to get there sooner. And that is like, it just shows you that his issues stem from when he was younger, never feeling like he fit in. His father left him when he was younger. And that's how I could resonate. My parents divorced when I was younger. And as a child, you don't know what's going on in the relationship with your parents. You don't know behind the scenes. You just know that one minute they're together and the next minute they're gone and your dad's gone. And as a child, you blame yourself for that and you think, I'm not enough. Why did they leave me? When that wasn't the reality of the situation. My parents just couldn't be together, so they separated. And then my dad had to leave the country and I didn't get to see him as much. But as a child, I was severely wounded by that, and it took me a long time to understand and process that. But that's where a lot of our issues start from, is our childhood. And we carry them until we identify them at some point in our life. Some people never, ever identify them, and they live their life and ultimately die younger than they were supposed to. So let's come together, build each other up. And as always, I'm sending you much love. Take care. See you on the next one.